Hi, I'm Sam, your resident fantasy reader,
And I'm Morgan, your romance reader, and we welcome you to Just One More Page.
where it's never just one more page. Hey, it's our first true book of 2024.
Yay! And this book is
Yay!
absolutely beautiful too.
It was adorable. I
It's
really enjoyed
such
it.
a cute book. But Sam, how's your week going?
So my week's good. I just restarted back school, so that's always fun. Have an unnecessary amount of schoolwork to do. I did. So my school's been doing. This semester's gonna be doing mock NCLEX. So you know what the NCLEX is?
I no, but yes,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, so the NCLEX is the national board test that we have to take in order to get our nursing licenses. And in order for schools to maintain accreditation, they have to have certain pass rates. So it's like so many students out of your class has to pass the boards on their first try. So what my school is doing right now is they're having us take mock board tests, where there's no way to study. You just go, you just sit down and you take them. And so what today's test told me is if I sat for my boards tomorrow, what would be the likelihood of me passing my NCLEX on the first try? I have an 85% chance of passing on my first shot as of right now.
What? That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, I saw it. I was sitting there, I was clicking through and I was like click, 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 enter. And then I saw the score and I just shot back at my desk and my teacher's like, What happened? And I'm like, look. And she goes, What? And I'm like, I just scored this. And she goes, Good job. She goes, If you took your test tomorrow, you pretty much passed your RN. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So
See, now
I'm
you don't have to stress out so much.
I'm still going to stress because there's still a lot more to go, but
Yeah.
it makes me feel better to know
Yeah.
that I'm on the right path. So
Yeah.
I kind of took it like not all the weight, but a little bit of weight came off my shoulders. I was like, cool, cool. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, so that felt really good. And that's pretty much it. It's just all been school related this week. Just trying to get back into the groove of things and studying. And now that Clayton's more active, it's a little bit harder to study. So it's just trying to like schedule study time around his naps and when Derek comes home and whatever. But it's been
Yeah.
a good week. It's been a really good week so far.
So how's Clayton been doing?
Oh my god, he's cutting teeth. He already has one tooth through. The next one's coming, and he's growing like a weed. And he's climbing on furniture, and he's crawling down the hallway. He tried to almost get into the laundry room the other day. I was like, "Child, stop!" So all the doors have to stay shut through our hallway. You know, our hallway that goes around. And because all the
Yeah.
doors are shut, the whole house echoes. Um, so it's been fun. He doesn't have balance, so he can get himself up, but
Aw.
hasn't figured out how to sit back down. So he's been hitting
Yeah.
his head a lot. So like my whole living room is full of pillows right now,
Mhm.
because we're literally playing like soccer with pillows. Because he'll get up really fast, and so then we have to kick a pillow behind him, or he's gonna fall and hit his head. There's a rug and stuff. I mean, and kids pretty much bounce, but I just don't want him screaming all the time. So it's like, oh, he's up, and you kick a pillow behind him, and then when he goes down, he just hits the pillow. So it's been a fun game of Clayton soccer lately.
Yeah, I think when I was watching my niece, I always had to be pillows around her. There's been a couple times where she really hit hard. I'm like, I kind of wonder if that really affected
Oh
her
no.
now. Talking about falling, I don't think I've said this on the podcast, but I broke my monitor, my computer screen. I have a
Oh yeah.
desktop that I record on, and fun fact, I'm not clumsy. I'm not clumsy. That's just not me, right, Sam? I'm
No, not
so
you. No, not you at all.
I totally did not trip over my dog and throw my phone at the computer screen and break it in half. That was not me. That was like I think I did that Christmas Eve, and I was in the middle of downloading or uploading the Christmas episode, and I was like, "Oh
Uh-huh.
my god, no!" But I went and I got myself a new monitor.
I low key think you just chucked your own phone against your monitor so you could get that gargantuan thing that you got now.
I listen, I I okay. So I went to Costco and I got this monitor. It's curved, which is a monitor. I always wanted a curved monitor, and it might be 35 inches. Listen, when I went to go check out, Sam, the person there was like, "Oh, do you want warranty on your TV?" And my dad was like, "Actually, that's her computer monitor. It's not a TV." And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, it could
Dude.
be a TV. It legit could be a TV.
I mean, you could just like load up Netflix. You don't need your TV anymore. You could just load up Netflix, some of that thing, turn it to your bed, and you could just watch TV on that.
Oh, yeah, exactly, and I really like the fact that this, monitor, it goes up and down, so I can pull it up and I can turn it and tilt it. And I really like that because, like, sometimes when I'm using my computer, I like to stand up and I can have the computer completely up. And I don't know, I love it and I'm obsessed. And I am going to be eventually building my own PC. So it's very nerdy of me, but I love
She
it.
getting fancy over here.
I know. I bought my computer case yesterday, so it's gonna be in the mail soon. I'm so excited.
Woo!
But talking about nerdy things, I guess let's talk about
Yes.
this book, Dungeons and Drama by
Yes.
Kristy Boyce. So, if you guys are curious, this is a young adult romance novel that follows this young girl named Riley who may have stolen her mother's car and drove it to a concert without a license. Ouch. Also, that's very irresponsible. Do not do that, okay? But it's safe to say that Riley is grounded. But instead of being sent to her room, she's sent to go work at a after-school job at her father's game shop. But when her ex-boyfriend comes in with his new girlfriend, what can a girl do but lie that she has a new boyfriend? Instead of saying that he lives in Alaska like any normal person would, she then blurts out the name of a coworker, Nathan, the same coworker that hates her guts from the moment she steps in the shop. Needing to not seem like a failure, Riley convinces Nathan for him to pretend to be her boyfriend, and then she will make his gamer girl crush jealous. Although things get more complicated when the spring play is canceled, it's up to Riley to figure out how to fix it while juggling her fake relationship. Now, I do want to say a huge thanks to NetGalley and Penguin Random House for allowing us to read this book early for a honest review. And honestly, I love this book. So, Sam, what was your thoughts on this book?
It was adorable. I had some problems with it like toward the end. There was like this like one little section where I was just like frustrated, but it was overall it was super duper cute. I loved it. I loved all the nerdy references and stuff. I feel like it was like you and me in a book. Like if we could have written a book
Yes.
together, this is the book we probably would have written
Yes.
together. And oh,
Yes.
I had so much fun listening to it, and I enjoyed it. I just overall it was just super duper cute. It was a good book to start the year off with for the podcast, officially start the year off with. Which, granted, if we could talk about the book that must not be named, we liked that one last week too.
Yeah, we
But
did.
check out that last episode as to why we couldn't talk about it. But
Yes.
super duper cute. Really loved it. Great start to the new year. Hopefully, we keep the momentum going. So
Yeah.
I gave it 4.75 on Storygraph.
Oh,
So
did you? I
yep.
think I gave it a 4.5 on Storygraph, but like a 4 on Goodreads because Goodreads doesn't
Mhm.
let you do point something, which is I think dumb. Um, but anyways, I just want to say that the cover of this book, if you don't know what it looks like, go look it up right now. Is absolutely gorgeous. And I think that it's really sad because of when I went to go buy this book because I wanted to buy it. Usually, we'll get these books as like ARCs, ebooks, and I won't usually buy the book if I don't really like it, but I
Mhm.
really like this book and I really wanted to buy it. But Sam, it only comes out as paperback, which I find
That's
to be
not
so.
unusual for romance novels.
But like, since it's like YA, I thought I would have a hardcover version,
I
and
feel like with
mm,
just the cost of materials now, it's
oh
almost more cost
yeah,
effective to start out in paperback, which I'm fine with. I like hardcover, but I honestly prefer like reading wise paperback. It's not as heavy.
yeah. But I honestly would have loved the fact if this book was released as a hardback and then the edges were sprayed and they had like dice on the sides. Like someone, please do that for me. I would love you forever if you just sprayed this book and painted it for me. I would pay you money because like the cover is absolutely gorgeous and I'm obsessed with it. I really love this book. It was light, it was fluffy, it had me giggling, kicking my feet like a child. And I'm not kidding you, the amount of times I inwardly screamed whenever Nathan and Riley were flirting with each other. I mean, not flirting with each other, but they were flirting with each other. I was like, I just loved it. On top of that, it had the found family trope in it, which is one of my favorite tropes of all time. And
Mm.
in the end of it, it just made me feel like I really want to be a part of this amazing friend group. And as someone who plays D&D, it was really fun to see how Riley realized that it's actually just acting, which honestly is one of the reasons why I really like D&D. It's because you can be someone completely new and have an accent, whatever. You can be someone whoever you want to be. And
Mhm.
although let's be honest, I mostly DM because my friends say I have the best campaigns. I probably have an overactive imagination, which I can definitely agree with. But I don't know. I love this book. I'm a huge fan of fake dating too. And, usually with fake dating, I feel like, sometimes writers don't really do it justice. Sometimes they have them where they're too flirty right away. But I honestly felt like this book was a perfect amount of enemies to lovers to like friends to I like you, and I really really liked it. The only thing I will say is that I felt like the description in the book that is on Amazon and Goodreads doesn't really match what really happened in the book, because the description of the book says that she gets Nathan to cover her shifts at her dad's job, and I don't really feel like that happened. So
No,
that's
not
only that.
really. They were working
No.
together a lot. Like, and this isn't a spoiler. They just worked together a lot.
Yeah, and I just felt like the description that they gave us just did not match. If they were like, she balances a fake relationship, pretending to be like his girlfriend and whatever, I honestly just felt like the description did not match the book
Yeah.
correctly. That's the only negative thing I'll say. But I absolutely love this book. Anything else you'd like to add, Sam?
No,
Not
not
spoil.
really. I mean, it's adorable. I appreciate that I understood every single musical reference that was in this book, and like it was just nerdum, like, but not like the author wasn't making fun of nerds.
Oh
It was
no.
like it was just like an homage to like how like cool and inclusive and fun the nerd community can be, and that sometimes like if you just try something new, you're gonna you don't never know, like just because it's not something that necessarily you would think like she very much was like ew D&D, and then she learned to love it, so it's
Yeah.
like which I mean clearly you can tell from the book cover that she's gonna
Yeah.
play D&D with them. Like you never know, like try that new hobby that you maybe
Yeah.
don't think is for you, because you never know if you're gonna like something, so that was fun. So that's all I
Yeah.
got.
So the one thing I will also agree with, like, because I know you said with the nerd culture, is I really like the fact that the writer didn't stereotype nerds. Because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
people, when they view Dungeons and Dragons, they view it's like, oh, it's such a nerdy whatever. Like, it's a nerdy thing to do. And like, I don't know, they picture like someone with, I mean, obviously Nathan has glasses, but you know what I'm talking about, like stereotypical nerds. And
Yeah.
D&D, I think that now D&D is completely different. Some people love D&D. Some people who like play sports can like D&D. And I
Yeah.
really like the fact that the writer didn't stereotype the friend group and make them into a super super nerdy type of group. But yeah, that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I'll say in the non-spoiler section. And I guess, do you want to go into our spoiler section?
Yeah, let's go into the spoiler section.
Okay, so we are now going to be going into our spoiler section. And if you don't want to be spoiled by this book, then please go and check out Dungeons and Drama and then come back here. If also remember to check out our last week's episode in which we talked about why we're boycotting St. Martin Press, and it's a bit of a juicy story. So, I mean, go check it out. But if you have already read this book, or if you just want to be spoiled, then please stay on and let's talk about it. So, Sam,
So, Morgan.
okay, what was the reason why you didn't give this book a 5-star rating? I wonder
Okay.
if this is the same
So,
reason why didn't give it a
okay.
5-star rating.
So, there was a moment like toward the like last like fourth of the book where it felt like her and Nathan were going to finally like, yes, I have feelings for you, like whatever, whatever, like this is great, like goodbye, Sophia, like yeah, Sophie, whatever. Uh
Sophia.
Sophia, like goodbye, like and goodbye, Paul, and we're just gonna like be together. And then they just weren't, and then they were angry at each other, and I was like, y'all like basically almost made out. And then was like, yeah, JK, but then he was like, but I'm still taking you to homecoming. But it was very odd, and it was just a very odd like moment. And then like they still went to homecoming together, and then like Paul was apparently staring at them while they were kissing, and they like it was like they couldn't admit they liked each other when they just clearly liked each other. And I was just like, we could have stopped at that point prior to Homecoming and said, yes, we like each other. Cool. Let's move on to the musical that we're now trying to save. Like we could have we could have
Yeah.
finished up one storyline and then continued the other rather than still having them run tandem with each other. I felt like it just felt like a lot. I felt like we could have had a good conclusion and then continued on with the musical storyline.
Yeah, well, so I agree with you. I felt like the miscommunication trope went on a little bit too much. I honestly feel like maybe they should have had, or the writer should have had it where they go to homecoming together and she's like, oh my God, he really, really likes me. And then when they're dancing, that's when he kisses her and she thinks it's for real. And obviously in the novel, she sees Paul, which is the guy that she's using Nathan to fake date to pretend to get him jealous or to prove to him that she doesn't need him. And when she sees him, obviously freak out. I think that would have been okay. But I do agree.
Hmm.
I feel like they did drag out the miscommunication thing way too long. Um, so your reason of not liking the book is completely different to why I did not rate it super high.
Why?
So the reason why I didn't rate it super high is because I really didn't like the ending. Okay. And I like, listen, the ending was really cute. I will admit. Okay. And if, once again, if you haven't read the book, let me explain what happens. Throughout the whole book, Riley is trying to prove to the whole school that there is an interest in the play and she plans it all out. She budgets it, gets kids to join, gets their costumes there, and she's going to show them, like the principal and the board, like a song from Shrek. And while she's playing this all out, the day of it, coming of them, like going to show it, is the day that her dad actually goes to the hospital because her dad thinks he's having a heart attack, and she runs to him and she's gonna miss it, and it's okay that she's gonna miss it because she loves her dad, and it's a really beautiful moment between her and her dad. But her dad's like, no, you should go. And so she goes there and she sees them all performing, and she sees the fact that her friends that she made at the game store are helped putting this together. I think it's a really cute moment, but I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought that Riley was going to sing a song to Nathan, because I don't know why, but I had it in my head that Riley was going to sing a song from Waitress, which is the Broadway play that she and her friend went to go see that got her grounded. And there's a song, I don't know if you ever heard it before, Sam, but there's a song called When He Sees Me. And it's a really
Hmm.
good song. And I honestly feels like it fits the novel perfectly because it talks about like what if he doesn't like me, what if when he sees me he doesn't like anything about me, or like it's a really, really beautiful song. And I definitely think it fits Nathan and Riley perfectly, of her feeling
Hmm.
like, what if he really doesn't like me? And I just thought that she was gonna sing that song, and the fact that she did it, I was like,
Listen,
you miss a good point, you miss a good point to
listen.
wrap it all around.
Of all the musicals she could have picked, Shrek, Shrek the
Hmm.
musical, Shrek the musical. What the heck? And all I can think of is like all the Shrek memes and stuff that have come out, be it PG or
Yes.
not so PG. I'm like, I'm like, Shrek. I was like, you could have picked something else, but I was like, whatever, we'll roll
Yeah.
with it. But I'm just like, come,
Well,
why,
what
why that one?
what musical would you have picked?
I mean, she could have gone with Waitress, or
Yeah.
because I mean that's the like that would have been a good full circle moment, and then maybe
Mhm.
the lead lost her voice at and she had to like take over or whatever, or I don't know, and then she could
Mhm.
have sang the song that you wanted her to sing. I just,
Yes.
I don't know. It just like of all the musicals she could have picked, Shrek. It just Grease would have been fun.
Oh, Grease would have been
Like
really fun.
I mean, I obviously she wasn't going to do like a complicated one like Phantom of the Opera or Les Mis
Yeah.
or because those are a little more mature,
Yeah.
or Cats. I love Cats.
Cat
But
scared me. I don't like that one.
well, the memory was my senior solo,
I know, I remember that. It was your senior
so
solo. I couldn't do it though. The whole, no, I'm not talking about like the movie that came out a couple years ago with Taylor Swift in it and stuff like that, and James Corden. The
I
old
have not
one,
watched that one.
I have never watched it either. But the older one, I remember we watched that one in chorus, and I just don't, there's something about it that I just don't like, Sam. And it's, the songs are beautiful. I give you that. The songs are absolutely beautiful, but I just don't like it.
Right.
Like the Nutcracker too. I don't like the Nutcracker. I'm weird. I know. Yes, I'm weird.
I
Um,
like the Nutcracker.
I I don't. There's something. It's the rats, Sam. It's the rats. The rats
I
freak
was
me
gonna
out.
say,
Okay.
but the Nutcracker is a ballet.
Yeah, it's a ballet more than a musical. But yeah, no, I do agree
Semantics.
with you. Shrek was an odd choice. It was a very odd choice. I will fully admit,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. I wish that they did something completely different.
Can we talk
Uh,
about the plot twist? Can we talk about the plot twist? Do you know what plot twist I'm talking about?
I'm thinking, what was the plot twist?
Josh's boyfriend.
No, he admitted it in the beginning. No, in the
Did
beginning of
he?
the
Did
yeah,
he? I didn't know
yeah.
that. I must have escaped. I'm like, oh, he's gay? No way.
It was at this moment in the podcast when Sam realized maybe she should slow down her audiobooks.
I must have just like
No,
skipped over that.
no, you skipped. No, because literally in the beginning of the book, he's like, um, Anthony's flirting with her, and John's like, "Don't flirt with her." And Anthony is like, "Do you want to flirt with her, or should I tell John?" And he's like, so he says something about John, but yeah, it said that in the beginning of the book that he was gay.
Oh no, I missed that altogether. I must have been
No,
focusing on my
but
baby or something because I was
it,
just like, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is so much fun. And they LARP. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
yes, but listen, I absolutely love the friend group because, like, once again, you had Lucas, who's the DM, who honestly I can vibe with. I loved him. I also love the fact that he's like inviting random people to join the campaign. He's like, "Oh yeah, you can join," and then when Nathan's like, "No, she can't," he's like, "Yeah, she can. Come sit down." Like I loved him. Um,
I loved it when Nathan was like, "She can't fight me. She's in the party," and she's like, "You haven't invited me to the party yet, so I'm
yeah,
gonna like cast this spell on you." And then she's like,
yeah.
"Now I'm part of the party." And of course, she picked a bard. I love it.
Of course, I love that, and I love that she's like, "Oh, I get to sing. I'm down. Let's go." And I really like how you have Riley, or I'm sorry, how you have Hirsha. Sam, how do we say her name?
Hashiko.
Hoshiko. Oh, thank you. Me, Sam, like we're talking about how to say her name because we both read the book instead of I read the book instead of listening to it. So Hashiko, I really like how she joined the campaign and how her and Riley had such a great relationship and how John was a very straightforward member, but and he doesn't show a ton of emotions, but he was there for Riley in the end, and how him and John are such a cute couple. Honestly, if anything, I would love a book about each one of these characters separately. Like even Anthony. Anthony was such a flirt.
Oh, I know.
Anthony was such a flirt, and I was so surprised that he found a girlfriend in the end of it. But like, and I honestly thought he was gonna bring two girls to homecoming. But I would have loved to see a book with each of these characters. Um,
Right.
I
Oh,
would
and
have
then
actually.
Hashiko and Lucas's dance scene, and they're all like,
Yes.
"Of course he likes her. No one would make a fool of themselves like that if they didn't like her somebody." I was like, "Oh my god!" And like, I don't know what it is. I think the like, I'm not going to try and get too serious about this, but I think the postpartum depression I've had has kind of lifted a little bit because I'm starting to like see scenes in my brain again when I'm like like listening or reading the books and everything. Like I'm able to like focus in and like I don't know why, but books have always been like movies in my brain and stuff. And so like I could see, I don't know, the dim lighting and the gym and Hashiko dancing and then Lucas just trying to keep up and like I don't know why, but I picture him as like a taller, lankier person, just like
Yeah.
trying to do the moves and it's just not working, but he's doing the best he can. And
Yeah.
I live for it. You know, I love it.
I honestly think they were adorable, and then you could tell right away that Lucas really liked her because as soon as
Mhm.
Lucas is like, you can join the DM game or the game too, the campaign with us too, please." And I love how Josh or John was like, "Another person, really? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Another person?" But another thing I really do want to talk about is the whole Sophia's
Mhm.
character. She was so toxic, and it annoyed me so much how much Nathan idolized her.
Yeah.
Sophia legit only wanted Nathan because Nathan was unavailable. And then when we find out later on when Sophia's there playing the game, she's like, "Oh, I need to go buy some dice." She go and Nathan follows her into the store. Riley's told that Nathan will buy Sophia whatever she wants. And I really like the fact that Riley went to Nathan and was like, "Buy me something, don't buy her anything." And he
Yeah.
did, and he bought her dice. And I think is so, so cute because a lot of times people who play Dungeons and Dragons, they put a lot of thought into their dice usually because for a game like the right set of dice for some, there's like a superstition over it. Like you have to have the right set of dice, and also people like certain types of it. And sometimes like even if like a dice like a d20 will roll like a natural one, on that one, then like they'll go to like dice jail kind of thing. So like I like the fact that he chose a dice that reminded him of her with all the different colors, and I just found it so cute. Like my heart skipped a beat. Also, my heart skipped a beat when he's being all jealous. What is wrong with me, Sam? I was like,
I
when
I don't know.
listen, when he was being all jealous over Paul, I legit was like, my heart. But please tell me why I viewed Paul being blonde hair and having the Justin Bieber hair from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also appreciated too, and this is just like a detail, is that style wise, Sophia and Riley are very close. Like they both have very loud clothing, but they're the complete opposites of each
Yeah.
other. And I
Yeah.
appreciated that like little bit of detail about the two characters because like it I don't know, it just made more to the story. It was like you
Yeah.
kind of have like the evil one and then like the one he's supposed to be with, and I was like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's cute. I don't know. I really am glad that like you could tell that he starts to pull away from Sophia. And
Hmm.
I'm kind of glad that Sophia didn't come back in and try to steal. I mean, she did try to steal him. Let's be honest, because she was like, "Come to my homecoming dance." Even though I'm like, "You wouldn't have invited him before Riley got there. Why are you inviting him now? How dare you?"
Yeah, you don't even go to this school.
Exactly. So I do want to talk about one of the things I do want to talk about is her and her father. So I think that her and her father has a complex relationship because her mom and her father are divorced, and her mom, they got divorced because something to do with the game. Like has her she feels like her father abandoned her for the game
Hmm.
store. But in her father's eyes, he's just passionate about games and having board games, and this is his life. And as
Yeah.
much as he wants Sophia in it, he doesn't force her. And I really like the fact that throughout the book, she starts getting closer and closer with her dad and enjoying what her dad likes. And I think there's a part where her dad brings out a board game and she doesn't get mad about it. And I
Hmm.
think it's so cute. And then in the end, when she tells her dad, like, why did you tell people about like the parts I was in, but you don't talk to me about my parts of the plays I'm in? And he's like, well, like, I went there. I didn't think you, like, I thought, you knew how proud I was. And I think that was such an important conversation to have.
Yeah. I think too, there's a moment that like broke my heart, and
Hmm.
I don't think he meant it like mean, but he basically said you and your mom kind of built your fort, and I was on the other side of the moat.
Yeah.
And that like because I know at some point as Clayton's growing up he's going to gravitate to either me or Derek in like interests and what he wants to do and stuff, like not necessarily one parent's the favorite over the other, but I know that at some point he's probably going to gravitate more toward Derek and maybe hunting and building and whatever, and I'm just going to kind of be mom. And like it's just like kind of broke my heart a little bit because it wasn't like he wasn't trying to say it like to be mean, but
Yeah.
he felt left out because he just didn't understand, and because her and her mom had this like little niche thing. And even she said like mom and I always listen to show tunes. Did we ever listen to show tunes when dad was in the car? I don't know if we did. And I was just like, oh my god. I think like Riley matured a lot to come to the reality of her and her dad can have things in common, but I don't think she realized how much she pushed her dad out by being as
Yeah.
close to her mom as she was. But I also appreciate too that her mom and dad had a very amicable divorce relationship. Like one didn't hate the
Yes.
other, one didn't talk badly about the other. The mom suggested that Riley would go to her dad's store to as a punishment and stuff. And so it wasn't like there was any animosity, but it was just a really good I think her and her dad's relationship was probably the best character arc in this whole book.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I love the father daughter relationship they had. I just love to see them get closer, and I love their understanding of each other. And yeah, I mean, I do agree. Like, eventually, like, not that a child favors another parent, but they definitely vibe better with one parent or the other.
Because
But yeah, now that they say that, I'm getting teary eyed thinking about it.
I know me and my mom were very, very close, and my dad and I weren't like the super closest people in the entire world. And it took me until my adulthood to kind of figure this out. Because my dad was kind of just always there and my mom and I would like go have girls' days and whatever.
Yeah.
And now that I have my kiddo and stuff, I try to make more of an effort to reach out to my dad, because I want like the relationship that I never really cultivated as a kid. And I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
do it on purpose. I just gravitated more to my mom. We had a lot more in common, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I actually had in common with my dad until my adulthood, because my dad
Yeah.
is where I get my love of reading. And my dad is where I get a lot of my analytical thinking, and my dad and I are a
Mhm.
lot alike. I just never
Yeah.
could see it until I got older.
I love that. I love
So,
that. That's cute, Sam.
yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like the only thing I share with my parents is my mom's love for reading. Um, and my dad and me like to play video games together. Even though I will be honest with you, I was playing Fortnite with him last night and he blew me up. I was on the same team with him and he crashed the car into the gas station and blew me up. So my dad's not my favorite right now because he made me lose the game. So you're on my shit list. No, just
Oh
kidding.
no.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
no.
So, do you have any final thoughts about this book?
I love this book. I highly, highly recommend it. I think it's got a little bit of everything for everybody. And even if you aren't like into nerdy culture, I still feel like you could really enjoy this book because it has a lot of relatable themes in it that I feel like a lot of people can connect with. And even though it's a YA novel, I feel like it transcends YA a little bit. And I highly recommend. Love it. 4.75. Like I will stick with that rating. And yeah, I think everyone should buy it and read it. I feel like this should be like the next YA romance, like big YA romance book. So
I agree. I absolutely adored this book. I thought this book had everything I wanted in a book, from fake dating to slow burn to enemies to lovers. Then you throw in a good found family and Dungeons and Dragons, and you have me sold. Now, will I admit that first, I'll be honest with you, at first I really didn't like Riley's character because she just seemed annoying, but she really grew on me, and I really loved the characters. I liked her relationship with her father. I liked her relationship with Nathan, how flirty Nathan was, because Nathan was such a swoon, like such a swoonful, like, or swoony. I don't know how to explain it. Charismatic. That's the word I'm looking. Very charismatic character, and I loved it. I will not lie. I was kicking my feet a couple times and giggling to myself because he was just so cute. The only thing I do wish is that we did get a little bit more of Nathan's backstory, because I feel like um we find out that like Nathan has issues with his parents because his parents are not around, and you think like, oh, they
Mhm.
abandon you or whatever, or they whatever. No, they're just working the medical field and they're never home. Like, that's it.
Hey, I can relate. Listen, I'm just grateful that fun fact, I haven't announced on the podcast yet. I have a new job. I start in July. It's very exciting. But it's only 3 days a week. And so I'm very grateful that I can work full time 3 days a week, because I know a lot of medical professionals who just get sucked into their work and they're just never home.
Yeah, no, I just found that part funny because I'm like, Sam's probably rolling her eyes at that. But yeah,
It's
so I
so
really,
true
really,
though.
it is true. It is definitely true, especially if you work in like, I don't
Any
know,
medical field,
I
anything
need.
in healthcare.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I definitely recommend this book. It was so cute, and I'm definitely buying the paperback and then praying for someone to let me know if they can paint the edges, because I will pay you. Please paint my edges. Please paint my edges. Anyways, let's talk about the book we're reading next week. So next week
Yay.
we're reading Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Nova. This is a part of a series where writers basically take classics and they remake them into queer themed books. I have read a book from this before. It was like The Great Gatsby themed, and it was flipping amazing. I really, really loved it. It was so well written. So I'm hoping that this book is the same way. I'm a little bit
Mhm.
nervous, but I hope it's as good, because that the Great Gatsby one was written by a completely different writer. But this
Mhm.
book is a Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice like remake, which is one of my favorite classics. This novel takes place in 1812. It follows Oliver Bennet, who feels trapped in his own body. After all, everyone knows him as Elizabeth, a girl. something that he is not. But because he is viewed as a girl, he's a force to mingle at balls, wearing a pretty dress, entertaining suitors, regardless of his interest of them, and eventually becoming someone's wife. But the only solace he finds is sneaking out of his family's home to explore the city dressed as a young gentleman. But during one of those nights, he runs into Darcy, a sulky young man who has been rude to Elizabeth, and I use Elizabeth as like air quotes, at a recent social function. But the comfort of being out of the public eye, Oliver comes to notice that Darcy is actually a sweet, intelligent boy with a warm heart, not to mention very attractive. But as Oliver spends more time with him, and the more his mother is growing desperate to see him settle into an engagement, Oliver must choose settle for safety or insecurity in a life of pretending to be someone he's not, or risk it all for a slim chance of freedom and love and a life that can truly be his. So that's the book that we're going to be reading next week. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, please feel free to rate us on Spotify, as it does push our podcast out there. Also, remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible Podcasts, and basically anywhere else you can find a podcast. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we do have one of those. Anyways, Sam, tell them about the rest of our socials.
Okay, so if you think we are absolutely hilarious, which in fact, my friends, we are, so duh, you need to check out our TikTok. It is Just More Page Podcast. And for our other social, we are on Instagram. I don't really know how to like introduce our Instagram. I've been trying forever and I just never come up with a good spiel. So anyway, we have an Instagram, Just More Page Official, and we are also Just More Page Official on Threads. So go ahead and go check us out there. Come stalk us, come slide into our DMs. We love talking to y'all. We hope you have a fabulous Sunday, and we will talk to you all next week.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.